I put out a Defiance build video earlier today. I would watch this one first before going through this video, because in this video I'm going to go through the level 50 VXP Defiance target to test the mechanics of this particular ship, which I have built according to my stated plan there. I have 4 cormorants on here, 2 sprints, as well as all specials, 1 CIC, no armor yet, and just the standard common weapon. I didn't get enough points in strike to make it worth spending points on the rest of those, and I'm going to go through this target again to take a look at the mechanics and how my particular build performs in the target, if sprints work, if cormorants work, etc. Not really going for a damage record here, just trying to show you how the ship drives and do a little bit of exploring off in the target. Let's go ahead and get started. Now, the thing that I hate about these targets is that they're all purple and all the ships look basically identical to each other and even to the ships in previous raids. If you know the ships in Battle Pirates very, very well, you might realize that these are basically purple, spiky versions of other things. We have the Houndmaster somewhere, and the Zealot is one of these as well. I think this one on the bottom is the Zealot. The top right one with the sonar ring around it is the Houndmaster. I could be wrong on that one though. And then the Interdictor, which is a very old ship, is the other one, the smaller one with the sonar ring. I'm basically going to call them the purple ship, and the purple ship, or just describe the rocket one, whatever. Now, your particular weapon, your particular ship here, the Defiance, which I might accidentally call the Hierophant once or twice, has a debuff ring. This is the blue one, and you can use this thing to essentially make the enemy's weapons worse and shoot at them and basically make them worse before you get into range of those. Now, as I'm circling around here, you can see that my anti-cormorant, or my cormorants, my anti-torpedoes, are firing. Those are 100% firing at the incoming torpedoes. They're not taking all of them down, so it might be worth adding more and or increasing projectile speed. Now, what I want you to watch for here against these drones is if my sprints fire, because the sprints are supposed to fire, but, well, I don't think I saw any of the drones fire any rockets at me, which makes it pretty difficult for the sprints to work against those. And again, at this point in the target, I've seen my blue weapons fire. That's great. Maybe the legendary ones look different or something, but I have not seen my sprints shoot whatsoever, which is really, really interesting. And again, the next cluster of 3 ships here, they're actually relatively easy to take out. You can see they actually are doing quite a bit of splash damage to me, which makes me think that combat speed could be pretty useful, which is a little bit different than what I sort of said without looking at these. Now, the big spider-looking purple hole actually does have a weapon that shoots at a minimum range. Make sure you pay attention to that. And again, here's another ship shooting rockets at me, which are not being countermeasured by sprints, even though I have them on here, and there's nothing funky about them needing to be stopped. So at this point in time, I don't think I can recommend sprints on the fleet, even though Kixeye says that they should work. They're quite clearly not working. It's possible between watching this and raid number 1, Kixeye adjusts this, but again, watch these drones right here. I'll get close. I don't see sprints firing against these rockets, even though the blueprint says they're supposed to, and Kixeye's strategy guide says they're supposed to. So that's, again, pretty interesting. And again, one more ship here. This is the boss hole that spawns drones. Worth noting that the drone spawning behavior is different with the quote-unquote skill drones right here and the non-skill drones. These ones basically charge at you, and you want to make sure they don't hit you, otherwise it's going to be a sad day. But again, here's another ship that is spitting out torpedoes at me, and my cormorants are actually doing a very good job against this one. You can see every single one of these is being taken down, so that's pretty nice here. So in summary, it looks like the build I came up with, which I actually used a bunch of tokens on this one to get this guy done, and did not save those for the flagship just to get this video out here, which is probably a silly decision and will set me back in Raid 1. The build I showed you works totally fine with very minimal driving. It's just interesting that these sprints are absolutely useless, even though Kixeye says they're, going to work, or it basically said that by releasing the strategy guide that said sprints are recommended. So I'm going to actually go ahead and send this video over to Kixeye because I think it's a little bit silly that they recommend sprints but again, they don't fire. You just saw that in this video, which is really, really weird. And here's the damage results. A little bit of concussive, and a big portion of that concussive, about half of it, was evaded. And that's without having Sea Serpents. I probably have an Alliance bonus. That's without having D5 EV on there. And this evaded category, worth noting, does also, this counts everything that was countermeasured as well. So you can't necessarily trust this completely. And then I did take a lot more explosive damage, and again, maybe if sprints work, that would help mitigate some of those ones, but 62% is the sum of the resisted and taken, whereas concussive is just 21%. Now the next thing I want to try is autoing this target to see how bad it is, because again, I'm intending, and actually let's check the repair before I go on this one. It's 37 minutes just from this one target, which again, I wasn't trying to go for low results. Let's go ahead and auto this one and see what kind of damage I get, and I think I'll actually try and pull up the Kixeye support widget in the meantime, which should be interesting here, because I should be able to show you the whole names and stuff like that as we're going through this. So taking a look, and I always find these a little hard to actually find the right data and the right stuff for. Like I don't want I don't want the Desert Pirates FAQ. I probably want something else. But on the left here, you can see that the ship is getting pretty close to some of these enemy targets, and even against these drones right here, again, I don't think they even fire at me once. They just die instantly based on my special effect. Actually, they did fire some rockets right there, but again, I don't think I actually, I don't see my sprints firing against these, is all I'm trying to tell you. So it's probably under gameplay on the left side here, and again, I'll actually make it so you can see everything I'm doing on both of these screens. So taking a look, again, this is really, maybe I can search for it, Dreadnought. Tier 14 Dreadnought Strategy Guide. So as you can see here, there's a bunch of things that are listed. It talks about the buff, which I discussed, and there's countermeasure vulnerability. So cormorants are supposed to work against the corrupted Houndmaster refitted. That was one of those I just killed right there. There are the lionfish spotter, which I'm shooting at right now, and it tells you it has a short-range weapon, and no countermeasures work against those ones, but that doesn't really matter. We have the drones, and it says sprints recommended, but again, my sprints don't work. My sprints do not work against the things that you say sprints recommended for. So something is a little bit silly, if you ask me. And Corrupted Zealot, no countermeasures recommended against those, whatever. But there are sprints recommended against a few things here. If I actually go ahead and Control F, sprint recommended, I can see is actually happening in set 3 places, against the Corrupted Drones, against the Corrupted Interdictor, and it's just those two. But again, I don't see my sprints firing against either of those. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at the damage on auto. It is significantly higher than driving, and most of that significantly higher amount is going to be the explosive portion, and no real change to the concussive bar in terms of the size, but the explosive is much, much higher. We went from 37 minutes of repair and added on, well, probably 2 hours worth if I'm guessing. Looks like an hour and a half. So 3 times the damage on auto versus a little bit of driving paying attention. So there's the build I've got. I don't intend to make any changes to this one, other than possibly adding regular explosive armor, actually, based on this one. Maybe combat speed armor if I want to drive everything, which I probably don't. But I might even go ahead and throw on like 4 explosive plates, because this is leaning towards a pretty explosive heavy target, and I don't think evade will be very helpful against rockets. I think the sprint would if they worked. That's all I've got for you. If you have any questions, go ahead and let me know in the comment section down below. With that said, until next time, I want to give a huge thank you to the channel members whose names are appearing on the end screen now. They're helping make videos like this one possible, the second one of the day, by the way. With that said, this is Derpy signing out, helping you be a better pirate.